it comes to cloud data transfer, I think we have this task for quite a while. It can basically transfer data from any cloud provider to any cloud provider, but also from your on-premise server to the cloud and back and forth, of course. And it even supports SFTP and FTPS if you want. The nice thing is it can also stream. So it can stream between cloud data buckets. So for example, you can stream from one AWS bucket to another, or you can stream from one Azure container to another Azure container, or even from AWS to Azure. You don't need any intermediate storage for the streaming. What I showed you in a lot of demos before is that you can also connect it to a webhook. So that means if, for example, you store some data on an Azure data lake, then automatically a workflow file transfer will start. Or if you save something on an AWS container, you send an SNS notification message through our webhook receiver, and you start automatically the file transfer from Amazon. So this I showed already in previous demo. This time I want to show you what's really new on this file transfer. And the new thing is that the performance has been highly increased because you can set up some new parameters now. But before I do this, I just give you a very quick overview what we can do is. So you can basically list objects like an ls command. You can do copy, move, sync. Copy to means that you can rename on the other side from on the destination side. Move to means you move something and rename it, or you can copy from another. You can remove objects. You can even remove a complete object store if you want. You can always perform dry runs. Before you start something, you can do a dry run. This is also nice for your testing procedures. You have a file monitor, so you can still do polling if you don't want to do webhook for all these things. The nice thing, it works almost the same for all the different cloud transfer buckets or storage systems. When it comes to storage system, I think we support basically everything which is on the market. Maybe there are some few which are not on the market, but then we will add it. So these are just a small list of, let's say, storage system which we support. The ones which are here in this list box are the ones which are pre-configured. If you have one of those, I need to configure it for you, or you can do it by yourself, of course, also. So, but we support all of these storage systems. It's not only storage systems, it's also storage applications. So it's really a very huge list. Also for the cloud data transfer, we have the metric stuff. So you can measure transfers while they are running and, for example, measure the transfer rate, measure the throughput, the number of file transfers, the number of failed file transfers, and so on. So we also have observability dashboards for cloud file transfers. Okay, let me now show you what's new with the intercloud data transfer task. So, and if I go now to the intercloud data transfer task. Or maybe I want to show you the one with the big file. I just need to set up data pipeline. Download big file. Exactly. This is what I want to show you. So when you have the intercloud data transfer task, the usage is very simple. So you just choose your action, copy, move, sync, whatever you want to do. Then you choose your source storage system. So in this case, AWS, you can choose any other. This is also dynamically. So you choose all the ones which are configured. Then you choose your target storage system. You choose your source credential and target credentials, the source file path and the target file path. And then you choose your filter rules. The filter is actually very powerful. It supports regular expressions and match pattern, and you can even use them in parallel. And you can also define here the recursive depth. So how many folders you want to go down. You can give all kinds of override parameters. So you can override, you do not want to override, or you can override with a timestamp. This is important for Windows users. They like this feature so that you get a timestamp. And now you can also set the output format. So in this case, text or JSON. Again, you see there's also JSON again, so that you have the log file in JSON. And what's nice is now that you can give now these under these additional options. There's now a new option called multi-streams. What you could always do is run file transfers in parallel. So you can say run, for example, 6 file transfers in parallel. So if you have 10 files and you put, let's say, 10 parallel processes, then it would run them all at the same time. But new is now that you can also do multi-threads. So that means if you have a big file, it would automatically take this file and put it into pieces and transfer this with multiple threads. So in this case, if I just use one thread, it will be slow. So just to show you the effect of this parameter. So if I run it now, you see now it's running. Maybe I showed you a bit nicer view because this is also new for the people who used it. So you can see now the progress. No. Do this height here. So it's running. You see, if I do a refresh, you see it still takes some time. You see there's now a progress bar, which you can see. Now maybe I delete those ones. And it's better to view for you. So just show the one that I'm interested in at the moment. Let me refresh again. You see it's finished. And here you can see the progress. It took 34 seconds. Then you see all the different data like source file path. You see the start time, average estimated time, and so on. Now I will run the same tasks. If I go again, I go in here again and go to the, what was it? Stream big data. Where was my task? Sorry, I just need to find it where it was. Stream, not transfer. Big data. This was the file. So now I will put, instead of 1, I will put 4. No? So not that much. I can also put 10. No? I will just put 4. And then I launch the same task again. Go to my dashboard again. You see the task is now running. But now I run it with 4 threads. And the file is actually 500 megabytes. No? It's 5 megabytes is the size. And you see, now it took only 15 seconds instead of 34 seconds. So the time is more than half than it was before. So like this, you can tune your file transfers now using these multi-instance parameter. Remember, you can transfer data to from any cloud provider to any cloud provider. You can increase now the transfer speed by not only transferring files in parallel, but also doing, let's say, putting big files into small pieces and transferring the multi things. And what you can also do is, and this is the last thing I'm going to show, sorry I have not shown you this one, you can of course also have data available for observability on the cloud transfer. So in this case, for example, if I go to last 5 minutes, then you can see there was just 4 tasks which I ran, which have been successful. Then actually, this is the task instance over time. You see the failure, the data transfer rate, all this information you can display for your file transfers. And you can switch then back to the time. So if I go, for example, last 3 hours, then you see it's getting more interesting, the data. So observability is also available for the file transfer task.